You have been lied to by false prophets stealing your money. You were told simply holding Bitcoin would be enough to make everyone wealthy. But how can you get wealth from something that doesn't create wealth? How can something that makes nothing give you anything? Even if a few people walk away with more gains than losses, it's only possible by taking those gains from someone else. Bitcoin doesn't create new wealth. It just transfers it from losers to winners. Somebody has to lose. Who do you think will be the loser? The billionaire insiders preaching Bitcoin to you, or you? The only way to guarantee you won't be a loser is not to hold Bitcoin. You were told simply holding Bitcoin was enough to replace banks, but simply holding anything doesn't replace the vital banking functions that generates their revenue. So how exactly is it supposed to replace them? Banks are not magic boxes that multiply fake money. They are real companies that provide actual services that everyone uses. Holding Bitcoin won't change that. You were told simply holding Bitcoin would reset the power structures of the world in your favor. But simply holding anything as a means of transferring power is a silly, archaic idea derived from outdated political and economic philosophies that became outdated because they didn't work in practice. Many things sound good when discussed in a classroom or read in a book, but the key test of those ideas is whether they can win in the battleground called real life. Simply holding Bitcoin is way too passive to change any entrenched power structures. This is the crypto bro equivalent of fighting injustice by tweeting woke talking points for social media credit. You were told simply holding Bitcoin is secure because the blockchain can't be hacked. But if your crypto is not anchored to something real, if you can't guarantee it will be redeemed for something real, it has no real value and can be rugged at any time. The Bitcoin may be secure, but the value it supposedly stores for you is not. The price is set by the most recent transaction, regardless of what happened in the past, and there is no floor. When you buy Bitcoin, there is no vault storing your real money waiting for you to claim it. It is backed by nothing and could become nothing at any time. You were told simply holding Bitcoin is, on its own, a legitimate use of Bitcoin because it's a great store of value, with no need to be a medium of exchange. But an electronic store of value with no transactions earns no fees and can't be economically viable in the long run. A network needs transactions to generate revenue. Revenue is required because companies that provide financial services have bills to pay. Bitcoin miners have bills to pay, and rewards for mining new blocks won't last forever. No transactions, no fees. No fees, no Bitcoin. You were told simply holding Bitcoin would help end volatility because it will cause the price to go up. But there is no difference between Bitcoin at $1 and Bitcoin at $1 million. Ending volatility doesn't need a higher price, it needs a higher volume of transactions. And if Bitcoin is just a store of value, not a medium of exchange, where will those transactions come from? But it doesn't even matter because Bitcoin is ancient technology that can't scale beyond 7 transactions per second anyway. So all those transactions would have to take place on insecure, opaque third-party exchanges or unfinished Layer 2 networks, which means Bitcoin needs more transactions to survive, but in order to get those transactions, you have to stop using Bitcoin. How does that make any sense? People bought Bitcoin hoping to never work again, but now they will work forever because all their money was incinerated in a giant Bitcoin inferno. If you found this content helpful, please consider liking the video and subscribing to my channel. It really does help get this channel more exposure and keep me motivated to produce more content.